Welcome to CEC's Division for Learning Disabilities video series, PD in 3. This series is designed for teachers, teacher leaders, and higher education faculty who work directly with or support educators work with students with or at risk for learning disabilities. In this video, you'll meet a prominent researcher and learn how to incorporate research-based practices into your classroom or into trainings for teachers. Our guest researcher will highlight one of their studies and provide major takeaways from the study that are applicable to educators of students with learning disabilities. Thank you and enjoy.
Hello and welcome to DLD's video series, PD in 3. I'm Kristen Beach, Associate Professor of Special Education at the University of North Carolina at Charlotte and member of the Division for Learning Disabilities. Today I speak with Dr. Rajiv Satsangi. Dr. Satsangi is an assistant professor in the Helen A. Keller Institute for Human Disabilities at George Mason University. Welcome, Dr. Satsangi. Thank you for taking the time today to share your award-winning work with educators of students with learning disabilities.
Kristen, thank you for inviting me. It's a real honor.
Sure. Please take a moment to tell us just a little bit about yourself.
So, Kristen, I do research and I study the intersection of assistive and instructional technology, content area expertise, and pedagogy in the field of mathematics instruction for students with learning disabilities. Within this broad umbrella, I'm particularly interested in studying how high-tech mobile technologies such as tablets and netbooks can be paired with best practices in the classroom to make conceptual and procedural skills more accessible for students who historically struggle in this area of study.
Great. And what study will you be sharing with us today, and who are your co-authors on this study?
The study was labeled Video Modeling and Explicit Instruction, a comparison of strategies for teaching mathematics to students with learning disabilities. My two co-authors, the second author was a former graduate research assistant here at Mason, Dr. Rachel Hammer-Billman, who is now an assistant professor at Towson University. And the third author was Christina Hogan, an Algebra 1 teacher in the Arlington Public School System here in Northern Virginia, whose classroom we conducted the study in.
All right. Tell us about the purpose or goal of the study and why it is important or relevant to the field of learning disabilities.
Sure. Video modeling is an established strategy in the field of special education for students with more severe disabilities to teach a range of functional life skills. However, in the context of teaching academic skills, specifically in mathematics, the amount of literature dedicated towards studying its impact for students with more high-incidence disabilities is much less, and particularly in the area of inclusionary settings. Now, of the existing work that exists for students with learning disabilities, results have been positive, and they suggest that video modeling can do two things specifically. It can help access instruction in a manner that increases skill acquisition for students with disabilities, and then secondly, it can help foster more learning autonomy for those students. However, in the field of mathematics, more research is needed to address how this approach compares to other established strategies that have been proven effective through a body of literature in the field. So the main objective that my research team sought to meet through this study was to extend the research base of studying video modeling for teaching secondary mathematics curricula to students with LD, specifically comparing its use to face-to-face teacher-led modeling that a student would typically receive inside the classroom.
So you mentioned a lot about video modeling, right? And so you're looking particularly at video modeling and its use for teaching mathematics to these secondary students with disabilities. And you also just mentioned face-to-face explicit instruction. Tell us a little bit about both these instructional strategies. What did it look like?
So the study compared these two specific strategies for delivering word problem instruction to 3 students with a math learning disability using an alternating treatment design, where students alternated between both treatments over the course of about 10 sessions. Now, first, the video modeling design. The video models were roughly about 5 to 10 minutes in length. The video model that we created incorporated multiple evidence-based practices that were shown effective for students with learning disabilities based on the literature within the What Works clearinghouse. First, the video model used explicit instruction to review key vocabulary terms, properties, concepts aligned to the specific standard that we're teaching. Next, numbers, figures, multicolored text, multiple representations of concepts were depicted on screen. 2 example problems were covered. in detail, and were modeled by the narrator in a stepwise manner for the students to follow. And then afterwards, we depicted a self-monitoring checklist on screen that students could use to review all of the steps of the problem-solving process and review their work to make sure that each step was completed correctly. Finally, all students were trained to navigate the video, how to properly use all of the features in the video, play, stop, rewind, and fully access all of the tools and supports that the video had to offer. In contrast, the explicit instruction, the teacher-led modeling condition, was what you would traditionally see inside the classroom from a teacher working one-on-one with a student, where the teacher worked using a whiteboard and many of the same things that you saw within the video modeling treatment, where you had multiple representations used, there were multiple examples that the teacher walked the student through. And so between that design process, I would strongly recommend, specifically with the video modeling condition for teachers, that they always keep in mind the notion that, how do I tailor this video for the intended audience of students for whom you're trying to support? And based on that, incorporate multiple evidence-based practices and scaffolds for the instruction that's going to be delivered. It was probably the number one thing that I took away from the design process when creating these video models for the students.
Okay, and was it like difficult to create these videos for the students? I mean, was this like a long process, or is it something that once you kind of get used to the structure of how to create the videos, you can do relatively quickly?
I would generally say that it is a commitment on the front end that generally pays off over time. From the studies that I've conducted with teachers in the classroom, what they find is the more video models that they develop, the easier it is to understand how to navigate the technology. Hopefully, ideally, the teachers are using the same practices and the same strategies that I just mentioned, the evidence-based practices, in their regular instruction. Here, you're just simply transferring them onto a very accessible medium, such as the video recording, that then can be accessed and utilized across a range of different manners inside the classroom.
Okay, and so you're really comparing students' use of video model versus the live explicit instruction model, which really both incorporated many of the same elements. It's just that you're just looking at the video, right?
Right.
Versus explicit instruction. So what did you find, or what are some major takeaways or implications of your study that are applicable to educators out there?
Well, Kristen, while both strategies were found effective for improving all three students' problem-solving ability, face-to-face teacher-led modeling was shown to result in higher performance across most dependent measures, which leads me to my first takeaway. This strategy of video modeling should be seen as a supplement to a teacher's classroom practices. Nothing can substitute high-quality face-to-face teacher-led modeling. Second, my takeaway would be that technology-based interventions can provide teachers, in particular, a universal design for learning approach for all of their students inside the classroom. However, teachers must consider the application of the strategy first, right? Whether it's whole group instruction, small group station work, one-on-one remediation, has to be based on a range of factors, such as, what is the makeup of the classroom? What are the disability profiles of all the students that are intended to use these tools? How big is your classroom, right? What is the access that a teacher and the students have to technology inside the classroom? All of these things are going to kind of come into play. In addition to what's available inside the classroom, you also have to start thinking through the lens of what's available for the student at home. Video modeling presents an opportunity for teachers to expand the boundaries of the classroom. Video modeling can foster greater teacher-parent collaborations for struggling students, right? However, similar to what we saw in the study, it requires some time invested with the student to get familiar with this mode of instruction.
All right, so it's not just about creating the videos and then just kind of like giving them to the students. It's about teaching them how to use the videos.
Right.
For their own learning. Okay.
And then thinking through what are all the different applications that you could use that video? What are all the different formats inside your classroom that you could use these tools beyond just simply one-to-one remediation?
What did the students who were using the video models, what did they have to say about it? Was this preferred to the live instruction, or was that something that you measured?
It was. Social validity has been a core component of all of the studies that I've conducted on video modeling up to this point. Through the social validity questions and interviews that I've conducted with not only students, but teachers as well, what you find is students respond really well to this form of instruction. They respond well to the fact that they have the autonomy to decide when to access that instruction, how to access it, And the technology itself provides a lot of customization.
So if I'm a teacher and I'm going to create a video, do I use like my iPhone or a camera? Am I just making MP4 files? How's this going to work?
That's one of the benefits of this specific strategy, is that it's incredibly flexible for teachers. They can use a range of different supports and tools that are available to them. And so whether it's your smartphone, whether it's a computer, a tablet, you have a lot of flexibility. You can use anything ranging from a YouTube video all the way to a video recorded on your phone to walk students through the steps of solving problems. And it's worth remembering that a lot of these specific skills that teachers are trying to teach using video modeling have already been taught. Videos are available online. One of the most commonly used ones are those from the Khan Academy online. And so I would implore teachers to kind of explore the resources that are available, then get an idea of what their specific population of students that they're looking to try and support inside the classrooms need, and make a determination as to whether or not those tools that are available will fit those needs, or whether or not they need to create specialized, tailored videos to meet the needs of those students that they're trying to support inside their classroom.
Yeah, I love that recommendation. So kind of use what's out there if it's going to work, and then create, individualize if you need to do so. That's great.
Right.
Any additional comments that you'd like to add about your study?
No. I feel like the fact of the matter is, I think this line of research is in its infancy, and I implore all researchers and teachers to start in unison taking steps to try and explore what are the benefits and perhaps drawbacks of this technology in order to better understand how we can best utilize this support. This technology is available. It's best that we all try and figure out what are the best ways to try and embed it inside our classrooms to support the needs of our students with disabilities.
Thank you for sharing your work with us today. I'm excited educators had the opportunity to meet you and hear about how your work supports the important work they're doing in the classroom every day. So thank you so much.
Kristen, thank you for inviting me. It was a real honor. I appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us. To view resources associated with the research discussed in this video, or to watch other videos in the Division for Learning Disabilities video series PD&3, please visit our website at www.teachingld.org.